Hey guys, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about episode 48 of Haktopodikra. This was a very strange episode. We're very close to the finale. We have only one episode left, and I feel like this episode was really strange. I loved this episode. At the same time, I feel very confused by it, and there are lots of points of this episode that I don't really enjoy. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is George. Our main villain of this season is, for me, a very confusing villain. Someone commented it on one of my past videos, and after watching this episode, I'm like, yeah, that's totally strange because, he wants to stop time because time brought him lots of suffering. The future brought him lots of suffering. He cannot deal with that. He's not able to deal with that. And so he has to stop time so that people will stop suffering and he will stop suffering and everything will be still. Okay, when you think about it, the intention behind it isn't bad. I mean, he wants to stop people from suffering. Yeah, that's a good intention. But the way he did it in the whole season is a disaster. And he feels like a spoiled child to me. He wants his way, and his way is the only way possible. And I really believe that in this episode, we were going to learn more about his character. We were going to learn more about what happened to him in the future. We were going to learn more about the reason why he fell into despair in the future. We got nothing. We got some phrases that he said that we can make assumptions, and that's everything we have to go by, except the images we saw in past episodes. So what I can make from what we saw is that George is someone who got married to Hannah in the future. That's very bizarre in my opinion, and because of that, they had to be separated. Why? Based on this episode, what I was able to make out is that Hannah suffered a lot in the future because of how the world got into despair, how the world fell into despair. Hannah suffered a lot because of that, and she tried to make people believe that there was a possible future. She tried to make people believe that the future was still there, the future could be bright, the future could be happy. She still believed in that, and she wanted people to believe in that as well. And that was the fall, the reason of Nonohana's fall. That's what I understood after watching this episode. And because of that, because of not being able to make the future bright, Hannah got in despair, and that made George suffer. And the whole world was suffering. But the thing that I don't understand is, where do the cures fit into that? I mean, the future cures, Cure Tomorrow and the other ones. Where do they fit into that? Where does Mother fit into that? Is Hannah Mother? I mean, Hannah turned into Mother in the future. I mean, where do they fit into this whole narrative? What were they doing? What were they trying to do in the future? It's strange because in some backgrounds, in some flashbacks, we were able to see that in the future, the cures were fighting. And then in George's narrative, it seems that there was no hope whatsoever. And if there are cures, there's hope. So where was that hope? What was really going on in the future? I think that this part of the story in Hato is really weak because it's not well explained. And the fact that we don't get to see what made George fall into despair clearly, we can only make assumptions, bugs me a lot. And George, as a whole, he irritated me in this episode in such a way, because I feel like his reasoning is like, there are good intentions behind it, but he is a very stubborn and spoiled man because he cannot see another way, and he cannot... he does not accept that Hannah has her own way of seeing things, and she can fight her own way of doing things. He cannot see that. He doesn't accept that Hannah is someone who can think for herself and who can decide for the future for herself. he does not accept that, and he wants his view to be the only view, right view. And yes, that is a villain kind of thing, but I felt that Hakuto was going to give him a redemption, and they kind of did, but I don't feel like he got his rightful redemption, because I don't feel like there's a redemption there at all, because in the end of the episode he still didn't believe in anything. I mean, he still thought he was right and he was doing the right thing. He just left because he lost. And that's a really strange thing. And okay, Hakuto's not over, things can happen, but I don't know. I mean, there are way too many things to happen in the last episode. And I really wanted to learn about the future Hana and the future George together, but I don't think we're getting that. But we got an amazing fight between Curiel and George. We had a very nice back and forth, both of them showing their ideals. George's ideal I don't agree with at all, and Hana was always giving like a good motivational speech. And creepy moment when George hugged her. I was like, ugh, what are you doing? But Hana was strong enough, you know, to break away and to fight. We didn't have like an epic fight, but we had an epic moment. George was able to break Curiel, but she was able to come back, and she was able to Hana was able to come back and transform into Curiel in an epic moment. I love those transformations, those unscripted transformations. Can I call them that? It was so beautiful and it was so intense. I felt like, oh my god, I just can't believe it. And it was really beautiful the way it happened, the way she connected with Hakuto, the way she remembered about every single one of the stories of the girls and how they were able to deal with the moments they were in, and they were able to come back stronger from that. It's interesting because I feel like Saya didn't have a moment of her own like that, and because her storyline is really weak in Hakuto, and I'm always gonna say that, but you know, it was nice seeing flashbacks of the girls, and you know, all the girls trying to remember to come back to who they were, and so she was able to come back as Curiel in an epic moment. One of the best moments of the episode for me, but obviously the best moment of the episode was when she was able to get out of that big Oshimaida body, and she, away from that big Oshimaida fusioned with George, and we had a big showdown. I feel like that big Oshimaida didn't really have time to show or to show its powers or be scary enough, because it was just a stupid monster, a stupid big monster, you know. They were able to fight against it, and it was very nice when people were waking up. Hana's mother, she was able to feel the Asu power, but not only that, she was able to feel Hana's power. She was able to feel her daughter throughout their energy, and that was a beautiful moment. We were able to see Henry waking up as well, and you know, lots of different characters that we saw throughout the series were able to wake up. One character I missed was that designer. I don't remember if she was there at that epic moment, but that designer was someone who appeared in lots of different episodes, and she was not part of this last moment. Was she? I don't think so. But, you know, I feel like we had a little showdown of Curiel and the other girls who got back into fighting form again. They were able to hold on that big final Oshimaida, and Hana gave a great speech about feeling people's hearts and people's emotions. And one thing she said, and I really believe in that, is that everybody has a Precure in their hearts. Everybody has that power of their own, and they can awaken that power. That was so epic. And you know, at that moment, she was able to cheer for everybody, and everyone turned into a cure. What an epic moment for Precure that was. Come on. That was out of this world. I really believe this is one of the most epic moments in Precure history. It was really nice. I don't have words. And you know, seeing Papuru as a cure for me It's a big thing. You guys know how big that moment was for me. You guys must have imagined me seeing Pampuru as a cure. Come on. And one of the most beautiful moments was seeing Henry and Masato together. You know, Henry was a cure. He was already able to transform into a cure past episodes, and then we saw Masato turning into a cure himself as well, and they both flew together. And one thing Masato said is, let's go together, something like that. Let's go together to the future that we want, to the people we want to be. And that for me, as a gay man, that for me felt like an assertive, you know, saying like, we're together now and I want to go to the future with you, together with you, you know, as a couple. And so I want to be who I want to be, you know, I want to assume who I am to the world and not be afraid of that. That's what I felt when I saw Masato flying with Henry like that. And, you know, for me, that's everything. You know, for me, that really speaks volumes. That is representation. I know younger people might not understand that, but I really see a special content in that saying, in that phrase. So that was beautiful. And so I really liked that moment. It was epic. It was beautiful. It was a way of remembering the whole season and the characters that we saw in the whole series. Unfortunately, some characters were left out. They could have fit somewhere there, like Saya's mom, like Emiru's family. You know, we could have seen them as well, just for them to be remembered. But the episode ended with a very strange scene between Curiel and George. I felt like Curiel wanted to have one last moment with him, and that's where I have a very big problem with. I didn't like the romantic undertone they put in that scene at all. And I feel like Curiel was trying to make him understand the future is bright. She was trying to make him understand the future is possible. There's possibility in the future if you're alive. But I don't feel like... I don't know. I just don't know. I think that the romantic undertone killed it as a whole. You know, I feel like, okay, they can be a couple in the future, but for now, Curiel is a kid and he is an adult. No, okay, just no, just ugh. And the way she held him at the end, you know, he cried. And I feel like his crying is sincere, but I don't understand. I don't know. I just don't understand George. I just don't understand George. Because, you know, I feel like he was so in despair that he tried something so that Hana wouldn't feel sad. But at the same time, what he did only brought her sadness as well. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like... And, you know, we create a paradox because if he went back in time and met Hana as Curiel, in the future, she is going to fight the Toge power and then she's going to succumb as well. Or if he didn't mess with the past, would that happen in the future? It's so confusing. I'm not even going to think about it right now. But that scene didn't feel emotional to me at all. And I felt like I could have felt more for George if he was a more developed character. So far, I don't feel much for him. I don't feel that he has a big story and that he has a big reasoning to do what he did. And I don't know, I just find himself really creepy. And now we're on to the last episode next week, and I feel like the explanations I wanted, I'm not going to get them. But next week, we have the girls in the future. We are going to be able to see their futures, and I'm very excited to see that. We're going to have Cure Star. We're going to have so many things. It seems that it's going to be a packed episode, and it's probably going to be full of emotions as well, because we have the goodbye of Harry and Hugtan. They're probably going to go back to the future. Oh my god. I don't even know what to think of that. And yeah, Hookto's almost over and I can't believe it. Anyways, guys, this video is long enough. Thank you so much for watching and until next time. Bye bye.